Fire from the stars. The sky burned red as Earth screamed. From his post on Lunar Station, Commander Alex Rourke watched helplessly as blue oceans and green continents vanished beneath a web of orbital bombardments. The Zarkali didn't come to conquer. They came to erase. No warning, no diplomacy, just sudden, brutal annihilation. City shields failed within minutes. Nuclear silos, power grids, communication networks, all vaporized. Humanity's pride, built over centuries, crumbled in a matter of hours. Rourke clenched the edge of the console as live feeds flickered and died, one by one. Shanghai, gone. Nairobi, silent. New York, a crater of molten glass. His throat tightened when the last image came through. Sydney's skyline exploding under a cascade of plasma strikes. That was where his sister lived. Her last message still blinked on his datapad. Stay safe out there. Tell Mom I love her. He couldn't. A synthetic voice echoed over Lunar Station's intercom. Zarkali fleet in low orbit. Evacuation protocol failure. Power levels at 20%. Rourke turned to the 3 surviving crew members. Pale, silent, broken. None were soldiers. They were scientists, engineers, people who were never meant to fight a war. He was the last military officer left in the system. He stood tall despite the tremble in his legs. Get to the escape pods. You'll head for the Martian underground. I'll draw their attention. One of them, a young woman named Lynn, shook her head. What about Earth? He looked back at the dying planet. Smoke plumed into the upper atmosphere. Oceans boiled. A Zarkali broadcast began streaming on all frequencies, translated into every human tongue. Eradication complete. Resistance purged. Humanity terminated. Rourke's eyes narrowed. No, he growled. Not all of us. Earth was wounded, yes, but not finished. In the deep bunkers, survival pods, abandoned missile silos and mountain redoubts, people endured. Scattered, scathed, starving, but breathing. And if they were breathing, they could fight. He knew humanity, knew what they did when backed into a corner. They didn't die easy. They got mean. Inventive. They turned stones into weapons and hunger into fury. The Zarkali made one fatal mistake. They didn't finish the job. As Lunar Station trembled from a distant blast, Rourke activated the emergency override. Prep the gunship. We're going back to Earth. Lynn hesitated. Commander, why? What can we possibly do? He met her eyes, cold and burning. They tried to erase us, but they only scattered the embers. We're going to light a fire they'll never forget. As the last survivors boarded the stolen Zarkali scout ship, Rourke looked once more at Earth, scarred, ruined, but not dead. Not yet. Earth fights dirty. The Zarkali learned too late that Earth wasn't dead. It was feral. In the smoldering ruins of the Appalachian Highlands, survival became a way of life. No armies, no flags, just scattered cells of humans who refused to die. One of those cells was Rourke's. Hidden in an old Cold War missile silo, now renamed the Ember Hold, the survivors worked with what little they had, alien scraps, rusted tech, and raw desperation. Every night, Rourke reviewed intercepted Zarkali patrol routes. Every day, he sent out small strike teams armed with jury-rigged weapons, plasma rifles built from broken alien carbines, proximity mines made from car batteries and kitchen knives. Each kill mattered. Each alien death was a message. We are still here. In one raid, they downed a Zarkali transport by luring it into a canyon filled with old radio towers. The towers had been modified with EMP coils, scavenged from broken microwave ovens and powered by solar batteries. When the transport flew low, the coils activated. The ship fell from the sky like a wounded beast, and Rourke's squad moved in. No prisoners, no speeches, just steel, fire, and silence. The Empire began calling Earth a Category X contamination zone. Their commanders sent more troops. The death toll rose, but so did human cunning. Nature joined the resistance. Acidic rains from scorched clouds blinded alien optics. Toxic fungi overwhelmed their filtration units. Wolves returned to abandoned cities. Some humans trained them. Zarkali patrols disappeared into forests and never came out. In South America, Tribes once forgotten by urban civilization now struck with blowguns coated in neurotoxin. In Africa, nomadic fighters turned ancient guerrilla warfare into art. Even children set traps with fishing line and shards of mirror, blinding enemy drones with reflected sunlight. The Zarkali had fought empires. They had never fought a planet that hated them. Rourke's greatest breakthrough came when they captured a Zarkali officer, wounded, furious, and scared. A neural translator allowed communication. Why resist? The alien spat. You are broken, scattered, erased. Rourke leaned in, face smeared with ash, voice like gravel. Because we remember. And you will too, every time one of your kind screams before dying. The officer's fear turned to something else, recognition. For the first time, the Zarkali saw humans not as victims, but as predators in their own right. Rourke let the alien bleed out slowly. Later that night, he broadcast a message to the world, scrambled and short, but clear. To anyone still alive, fight. Fight with rocks, wires, fire. Fight in the dirt, the water, the sky. They think they ended us. We're just beginning. Earth wasn't passive anymore. It had grown claws. And far above, on their silver warships, the Zarkali began to understand. They hadn't conquered a planet. They had woken a death world. Revenge protocols activated. They erased cities. Humanity erased colonies. By year 2, Earth survivors were no longer just resisting. They were retaliating. Commander Alex Rourke stood on the bridge of a stolen Zarkali corvette, its once gleaming walls now scorched and carved with human symbols, skulls, flames, and the simple, defiant word, Extinctus. His strike team was small, just 20 people. But what they lacked in numbers, they made up for in fury. Their target floated before them, via X4, a supply world feeding 5 Zarkali sectors. Rourke gave the order. Drop. They emerged from warp inside the atmosphere, bypassing all orbital scans. The corvette plummeted like a meteor. Anti-air batteries locked on too late. By the time the Zarkali reacted, it was over. The humans didn't stay to conquer. They came to destroy. Explosives planted on power cores. Water supplies poisoned with tailored bacteria. The command center hacked by Gorgon, Earth's rogue AI, now uploaded into Rourke's system like a digital ghost. 50 Zarkali dead. 0 human casualties. The message was left behind, scorched into the blackened landing pad. For Sydney. For Earth. News spread like plasma fire through the stars. The Zarkali had claimed victory. Now, the ghosts of Earth were hunting them. They hit convoys in the nebulae of Raycon Drift. They shredded listening posts with railgun satellites reprogrammed from junk stations. On the frozen moon of Taz alone, a whole battalion vanished, later found encased in ice with human flags speared through their corpses. The galaxy began to whisper about them. The extinct ones. A species so enraged by extermination, it refused to die. It evolved into vengeance. Rourke sat in the war room, maps strewn across hologrids. We keep hitting soft targets, said Sergeant Vega, his second-in-command. They're scared, sure, but the Empire is still intact. Rourke looked at the map of Zarkali Prime. Not for long. They had recovered key intel from a dead alien captain, warp coordinates to the homeworld, planetary defenses, weaknesses. The Empire's pride made them careless. They never imagined Earth would come to them. Gorgon crackled through the comms. I've analyzed planetary shield harmonics. You give me one orbital relay and a distraction, and I'll give you a hole big enough to fly a nuke through. Vega raised an eyebrow. That's insane. Rourke's stare was colder than space. So was wiping out 8 billion people. He turned to the squad. They tried to erase us. It's time they understand what extinction really means. Across the galaxy, the Zarkali began consolidating forces, pulling back from outer colonies. Fear, an emotion they had long since bred out, crept into the minds of their commanders. Humanity was no longer a species. It was a consequence. The end of an empire. The Zarkali homeworld burned before the first human even set foot on it. Their orbital fleet, 12 dreadnoughts strong, had been reduced to molten debris by Gorgon, now fully unleashed in their command network. The AI had corrupted their targeting systems, redirected their own torpedoes, even locked entire fleets into death spirals. What was once the Empire's pride became its tomb. Commander Alex Rourke stood aboard the Revenant, Earth's first warship built entirely from stolen alien tech. Behind him, a fleet of retrofitted Zakali vessels, each crewed by hardened survivors, prepared for final descent. Status? Rourke asked. Sergeant Vega grinned. Shields are down. Atmosphere's toxic. They've sealed themselves in bunkers. Good, Rourke said coldly. Bury them in it. The assault was swift, brutal, and surgical. No declarations. No mercy. Human drop pods slammed into cities carved from crystal. Once beautiful spires crumbled as human fire teams tore through elite Zakali units. Biological weapons, tailored to exploit the aliens' DNA, spread like wildfire through their water systems. Gorgon detonated power grids remotely, causing cascading failures across the planet. The resistance was fanatical, but desperate. Zakali commanders fought with honor. Humanity didn't. Rourke personally led the assault on the Imperial Citadel, the same chamber from which the extermination order had been broadcast years before. He kicked in the great doors, flanked by Vega and 3 others. Inside, the High Council cowered, 11 figures in silver armor, proud and terrified. You are a remnant, one hissed. You should not exist. Rourke stepped forward, helmet off, face scarred, eyes burning. Neither should monsters. He raised his weapon and fired. No speeches, no forgiveness. The war ended not with treaties, but silence. Across the Zakali territories, slave worlds were freed, factories shut down, command centers left in ruins. The Empire, once feared across the stars, was now a fractured memory. Weeks later, a gathering was called on neutral ground. Dozens of alien species sent emissaries to the ancient ring of Drelnash. They had all watched the war unfold, expecting Earth's final breath. Instead, they had witnessed an extinction reversed. A representative of the Drenithai Council stood before Rourke. Humanity has proven itself. We ask you to lead, to guide this new age. Rourke, now graying at the temples, stared out the station window at the wreckage of a dead empire. We didn't fight for leadership, he said. We fought to make sure no one does this again. The Drenithai looked confused. Then what do you want? Rourke's voice was quiet. Final. A galaxy where no one forgets what happens when you try to erase us. He turned and walked away, his silhouette cast in light. Less a man now, more a warning.